Cabinet meets on a Saturday, it's news. By the time you see these pictures, the world will perhaps know what the news is this time. At the moment, we can only guess. But the subjects to be discussed are Anglo-Italian questions and the situation in Austria.
Good morning, gentlemen. Morning, Prime Minister.
Good morning.
Morning. I would like to welcome you all to this Cabinet meeting to discuss a very important issue that in regards to Mussolini and the dire, well, the frankly quite troubling declarations that he has made. We need to decide as a cabinet what the British government will do.
So this activity was all about we were acting out as British cabinet, and we were kind of set in the time of 1935, just after a crisis in Ethiopia where Mussolini invaded Abyssinia, and we were kind of brought on this emergency meeting to discuss what the British would do about it.
Lives have been lost already. There is a fight going on right now between Italian troops, which are essentially called mercenaries because Italians do not agree that they're their troops, and the Ethiopian Somalians.
Secretary of State of War.
We must not European nation.
We must not risk causing an enemy of Mussolini. He is a major ally in keeping communism and Hitler at bay.
So we got into character mainly via props and stealing our parents' pipes and cigarettes. But otherwise we did some sufficient research and discovered new information allowing us to venture deeper into the cabinet's mindset during this crisis.
The interests of our assets. If we just move them there,
yes.
If we just move them there,
walking into
no, I'm not saying that. No,
it's
Home
if you
Secretary.
stroll to the park. It is the same thing, sir.
Home Secretary.
He has shown no intention
I'm saying
marching into our territory.
I'm just saying that if we simply just move the ships and station them in our colonies, in our ports, and we just move them there, and we say they are there to patrol due to the conflict in Palestine. It is only up to Mussolini's interpretation. We, as a matter of fact,
we can also mention the fact they're here for fishing.
So my role in this role play activity was the Home Secretary. So he is responsible to inform the Prime Minister of what's the general feeling in England.
I do realize that, but however, I need to remind everyone present that although thousands of jobs might be created, I know 5 that will certainly go out of job in the next year if we start to rearm. We lost a majority of more than 14,000 votes, by 5,000 votes, by an opponent who supported disarmament.
So my character was the Chancellor of the Exchequer, which is basically like a finance minister. And his department's view on it was that Britain didn't have the economy or the stable economy to go to war or fight against Mussolini.
Okay, so
I must stress this information. If we rearm, not all of the unemployed workers can work in these factories. They're not skilled enough labourers.
Yes. Then I'm speaking, Foreign Secretary.
So during our role play, my part was to represent the Foreign Secretary, which meant I had to consider the international relations during this time with Britain, which meant looking at their empire, which was quite large at the time, and looking at the issues in the Middle East, in India and in Ireland, and seeing how that affected their decisions for the Abyssinia crisis in 1935.
They prefer us not to go into European conflict. However, they will provide support if there is a European conflict. However, this is not such a conflict. This is a minor issue with just, as we mentioned before, a little watering hole in the middle of Africa, which no one, quite frankly, cares about.
What language, sorry. Foreign Minister, this watering hole you're talking about, I would like to go back to Manchuria. What was Manchuria essentially was a little bit of iron getting blown up. Nobody has died, nobody has lost anything more than 2 days of work. And then in this watering hole, lives have been lost already. There is a fight going on right now.
I think it's a hugely valuable activity because, well, not only did we enjoy ourselves, I think it was quite fun, but also I found it easier to remember information simply because it's a more exciting way to learn. It's not simply looking at a book, it's interacting with others, interacting with your knowledge.
Yeah, I think just because you have to really focus on what your department's views were at the time, you really kind of iron out those ideas. And also when you're debating with maybe another person's opposite view, you kind of get their ideas as well. And because you're debating, you're going back and forth, they really get sealed into your brain.
Yeah, and it really allowed us to understand the factors affecting the cabinet's decision during this time, because when you're looking through the history books, it can sometimes be quite confusing to consider why they decided to do that and why they decided to get towards appeasement rather than conflict.
Yeah, it's exactly right. When you just look at a book, you just think, what an idiot. But when you have to try to think like they did and put yourself in that mindset, not only does it make you more understandable of their understanding of their decisions, but you also remember more why.
Yeah, it's like taking out the hindsight and everything and just understanding better.
Yeah, definitely.